Welcome to a very late version of the way too early tier list. Crazy busy week, so we're gonna try and speedrun this as fast as possible. Um, and see how this goes. So, I have gotten a chance to play with the hood a little bit, so I can give a more accurate ranking for him, but I'm not gonna say one way or another, right? I haven't looked at any additional things. My mindset is still in 9.0, not 9.5 yet. I haven't played much. I just played some 18v18 stuff as the hood, so that way I could get a grasp on how he plays. So, without further ado, this is going to be a whole lot faster than other times. See, I'm not even set up here. There we go. Alright. Doctor Strange has not been good. Doctor Strange is getting better. He's getting some adjustment of some kind, right? Yeah, his Gamma team up is no longer a nerf. Great, thanks, fantastic. Hulk is getting no changes. He's hard to play. Uh, he can be poked down really easily, and the meta's not Brawl, so it's harder for him to fit in at the moment. Plus, there's just so many things that counter him, and he's not easy to play, so he has to be B. He's not getting any changes, so is what it is. I was surprised by Groot. I don't think he's moving anywhere. I think he might be getting a little. I don't think he's really changing much, but his team ups surprised me. I didn't think the bubble would be that good. It's pretty decent. We'll see where things go. Benny's been really great. Uh, her stun thing. I know people said it was a huge nerf. Doesn't look like it's that big of a nerf. Actually, seems like it increases her stun rate. You know, the amount of time she can stun, but stun time for one is a problem, but she can spam stuns a whole lot easier now. I don't know. I don't think she's going to be A tier. I think she'll be probably B tier next season. Uh, sorry. Hulk is supposed to still be B tier as well. I think she'll probably be B tier next season. And, we'll see how things shake up with that. But I don't think she'll stay where she is. Her viability is just going to change. Her playstyle's going to be different. Not much to be said. You can play him everywhere, into anything, with anything, and he's getting a buff. Is what it is. Venom has been S tier. I think Venom will still be S tier, but worse than he was. Thor is hard to say because not many people play him, but I think he's just fine. I don't think he's amazing. The thing is that you have to have the right team comp to play him in, and a second tank. So, if you know what you're doing, if you can play him well, I think you can get good value on the guy. Cap has been kind of niche to play. His team ups are fine, but they're not, world changing. I think he's probably going to be outclassed moving forward now that, people are getting more and more used to the changes and the team up differences and everything. So, I just think Cap's going to keep falling behind. He's not getting any changes. And the Thing, who's really meta right now, is a really big counter to the guy. So, yeah. I'll put the Thing there. No changes to him. Great. Emma is a shame. I think she's the worst. Well, not Doctor Strange, sorry. Doctor Strange is the worst of the main shield tanks. But I think she is not as good as she could be right now. I think she needs a buff or to wait until some of the meta shifting calms down a little bit. Once it calms down, I think she'll be fine and she'll probably go back up a little more. But right now, everything's meta, everything's bad. Still, after the team up changes, trying to get used to everything. You know, nothing's set in stone right now. You know, so until things are set in stone, I think Emma's going to be A tier. She may go up this season. We'll see what happens. Angela is amazing. Both of her team ups are great. Her Starlord one can kill a squishy target really easily if she's fully charged on her flight meter. And her Loki one is just really annoying to face. It really is. It's so fun to play with. She needs a second tank. She cannot solo tank though. And she's pretty counterable. So for those reasons she cannot be S tier, but she is definitely top of A, I think. Rogue is a tragedy. She's really bad right now. Rogue is getting very few changes. I don't think it will move the needle, I'll be honest. Tankpool's great. He's probably the best Deadpool before upgrades. We need to learn to swap off of him. Once people realize that he doesn't work in a specific match. But, besides that, I think he's great. I do. I really do. I think he's great. Definitely S tier. I don't think he's better than Groot or Thing. He might be better than Venom next season, though. All depends. They're finally starting to nerf him, and might make a difference. These guys are just so great at zoning that Tankpool he can't keep up with that. But he does a lot. He does a good bit. And once you get those upgrades, once you get like the gun ult and the E, and especially like the hella guns, easy. Easy cleanup. He's amazing. Dino right now is good. I would call him top of B tier though, because there's so many. Maybe A tier. Well, I say right now, but before this season 9.5 began, I would say he's good, but obviously there's some big problems with Poke. Brawl can even overpower him, but he's getting a big buff to his viability against tanks, which could be a good sign. I don't think he'll be too massively impacted by it. I think it'll help a lot. I think more people will play him because of that. Here, I'm going to put him in B from last season. Top of B, but I do think he's going to raise up some with this viability because his main target is a tank. Now for the Hood. I like the Hood. I like the playstyle. I think he's got a very flexible concept with the kit. Both team-ups are pretty good. You can use them in different circumstances, different situations. I think he's interesting. I'd like to play more, and I will in the next coming days. The season's out by now. So, we'll see where he shakes up moving forward. I see him as probably an A tier tank. I don't think he's absolutely broken in any way. His ultimate, if everyone targets you, you can pop pretty easily. But I think it's a good way to reset everything, and you can get all your health back, your cooldowns back, you can get a ton of stuff. So even if they do target you, you just get out of it, and then you have your cooldowns back, and you're good to go. So it's, it doesn't reset your cooldowns, but while you're in it, your cooldowns keep ticking away, and then they'll reset naturally. So I think he'll be interesting. I'm assuming he'll be A tier. I don't think he'll be much higher than that, because I don't think he has the staying power and the ability to create the same space as some of these other tanks do. I would probably take a Venom, like a good Venom player, over a Hood. But I don't think he'll be bad. I'm sure we'll see a ton of play with him. On to duelists. Iron Man, he's been fine. I mean, I probably wouldn't put him in D. Probably put him in C. Any changes to Iron Man? To the Metal Man? No. So I think he's just C. He might even go down on C because there's now they're giving big buffs to DPS players. Uh, hit scan DPS. I mean, yeah. So he might even go down a bit because hit scan is like the big counter to Iron Man. But you know he's able to be played. But he's definitely able to be shot out of the sky. It's not the end of the world. If you just have someone that looks up and aims at him, you're good to go, right? You know, is what it is. So I think he's in a healthy spot. I think he can do solid damage. I wouldn't be opposed if he got a, a speed boost, movement buff of some kind, but besides that, you know, I think you can get decent value out of the guy. There are just better DPS. Spidey, Spidey's not bad. He's pretty good, even. There are just better DPS players. There are better DPS characters. There are characters that do more with less effort, you know? Um, you're putting all this time and effort into Spidey, just put it into Black Cat and you'll get better results. You know? I I, I truly think so. Spider-Man's not bad, but like Namor completely shuts him down. You know, it's a whole thing. Speaking of, Aor's banned all the time. Um, best anti dive right up there with the Thing. I see him banned constantly. He's not getting any changes, so I don't see a problem of moving him from S. Black Panther, probably. Well, his team up is going away. I'll give him A for the moment. I think he'll go down to B though for next season, because you're gonna have to keep your cooldowns uh, together a little better and not use things too much, or else I think you're really gonna get trapped with him. Because now you have to do two spear throws to do the like one shot combo thing. So that's just from what I've seen. So I think he's going down just slightly. I think you'll need to have more precision, more timing, wait longer, you know. But for what he did in 9.0, especially the beginning of 9.0, I gotta give him at least A tier. Magic, very solid B. People play Magic, they swap off of her when they know she doesn't work. But very good at Brawl. She actually, I'm going to put an A because of the Hood team up she's getting. Um, I think she's going to do some really serious stuff. I know that some people are like, oh, it does a lot. Some people are like, you know, doesn't do anything. The range, you know, the radius on those demon hits though, pretty big. You know, I wouldn't count her out. I think she could be a real problem this season. Storm has been better. Storm has been better. Hit scan helped her a lot. Um, I would say if you know how to play Storm, you should play her. But I think she's probably moving down to C because one of the big reasons you played her was for the Black Panther team up, and now hit scan characters are even better. So more people can hit her easily. Her team up is worse. You know, I still think she'll be providing more value, but I think the window of ease of like people really needing to play her is shrinking, right? If you want to play Storm, play Storm. Now is the time. Because I don't know how long she'll stay in the meta. I'll put it like that. Star-Lord is S tier. Um, not much to be said. Very consistent, very reliable, very good all around. Getting no changes He's hit scan, he dodges things, and if you use the Atom team up with Star-Lord ult, if you ult from far enough away and then you teleport in, they can't hear your voice line. And then you get a silent ult. So there's some free info for you. Punisher is annoying, very frustrating. Um, he's one of the big reasons why Mag is so good right now. He basically shreds through any tank besides Magneto. Magneto is amazing, so you either ban Punisher or you ban Magneto. It is one or the other, it is not both. I mean, you can do both, but there's just no reason to, you know? I just don't see the point to banning both of these characters. You know, if you ban Punisher, then great. You know, you don't need a Magneto, but you can just use your ult on other things. If you leave them both out, they'll both probably be played. If you ban them both, no one's going to bat an eye. If you ban one, the other will probably be played. You know, he's also a huge counter to the Thing, and the Thing is almost unkillable this season, with both of his team-ups being amazing. So, he's got to be top of S, I'm sure. I don't think he's one of all. That's reserved for another hit scan marksman. But I digress. Scarlet Witch, obligatory D tier, unfortunately. I will delete this F tier because I don't think there's any failed characters at the moment. We're too close to recent drastic changes. There's nothing that's been failed. I don't think there's anything that's a real problem right now. That's just like completely wrong and completely needs to be really reworked. Black Widow was the last one that really felt like that. No one needs a rework. I think there's just some characters that could use some buffs, could use some boosts to maybe some mechanics or some stats, and they would be fine. So, Scarlet Witch is fine. You can use her everywhere. But she is intended for newcomers to the game. I still think the right-click changes they had for that very short time that allowed for some skill expression is the way to go for her, to take her out of D tier. But it just takes a lot of investment, and it's hard to make her work, especially as players get better and better, and there become more and more ways to counter her. But she's got a good team up with the Hood, so, you know, maybe we'll see some more of her this season. On to... Oh, she's also getting... She's got a better team up with Doctor Strange now. Basically can do it constantly. Sure, I mean, I don't see any problem with that. I don't know if it will be a dramatic change, but, you know, I do wish that we would get a very serious Wanda meta at some point, because I think that could be a fun day. Moving on to Hela. Hela is getting a nerf to her Namor thing. Her Namor squids. She's definitely S tier this past season. But if she's getting it's a 5 damage hit to her Namor squids. That is a big deal. That's a big deal. I don't think she'll be S tier anymore with that in mind. Like, that's a huge nerf to her squids. A tier is still very standard, very solid though, so don't count her out. She's also one of the 2 characters alongside Gambit that activate 4 upgrades. So she'll still be banned, I'm sure. She'll still be used, I'm sure. So we'll see where it all shakes out for her. But with Poke coming back, I don't think she's going to be out of the meta. I just don't think she's going to be as good as she could have been with the Namor buff and the Poke buffs. yeah, it's just balancing, you know. Winter Soldier, you gotta know how to play him. He's not an insta win, and they're not changing anything, so you gotta know how to play him. He's not an insta win. My point stands. He is really good. You can do a ton of work on him, but you almost never consistently get a ton of agains with his ult. You get maybe one or two if you're really good with the character, but if you get one every match, great. Fantastic. That's value. Um, you just gotta know what you're doing. He's not an insta win character, but he does a lot of things and he does help in a lot of different circumstances. So I think he's just been conflated like Magneto, like Strange, like Emma, as the you pick this character and you win, and that's just not the case. You still have to know what you're doing, you still have to aim, you know. But if you know what you're doing, if you can aim, and you know what his kit does, I think you can get some good work with him. On to Psylocke. Dive is a thing. I feel bad for Psylocke still because of the whole ult revamp stuff, making her an ult merchant and then just killing that. I don't think she's an A. I think she's in B. I don't see too many of the Psylocke players right now. And I think people finally realized what to do for Psylocke's ultimate in lower ranks. Um, because, I mean, I'm in Diamond, and people finally realize that, oh, you just stand in it and you don't die. So, that took way too long to get down here. But, it finally is, and now I think Psylocke is. I don't know. I think she's fine. It is still a dive meta, so she's still gonna get work. And her team up with Emma is still great, but it's not the biggest deal ever, right? I don't think she's going to be like exactly on the same page with Black Panther, right? I think she's definitely worse than Black Panther. I don't want to put her in C because I think that's too harsh for her. I might even put Panther back up in A, but like bottom of A. It all depends on where the rest of the duelists shake out, because there's still plenty to go. Moon Knight recently has been hot garbage. Moon Knight is getting nerfs, I think. Bounce Decay. No, that's a buff. That's a buff. That's a buff. I don't know. I mean, I guess Poke is back. But he's more of a brawl character. He's a big anti-brawl character. So, when Brawl comes back and when Brawl is a big deal, I think he'll move back up. But he's just waiting for a better meta, I think. Hawkeye is really hard to love because he cannot be dove, and diving is a huge thing right now. But his Psylocke team up is pretty decent. So a good Hawkeye will make it work. A good Hawkeye can do what he needs to. But I don't feel comfortable putting him any higher than C. I'm honestly considering top of D, but that might be too harsh because I've seen some Hawkeye players pop off. Squirrel Girl does belong in D, because it just comes down to you hold your left click, you throw a right click, you hit your C with the Iron Man team up or Spider-Man team up. That's all you do. Pretty brain dead character, honestly, and you get value, especially lower. The lower you are, the more value you get. The larger hitboxes you're shooting into, the more value you get. It's a low skill character. I think they could easily make her a strategist, and she would be a much better version of herself. this is one character that is the closest to failure, in my opinion. Because you once you reach a certain rank, she is just non applicable. Just it does not matter. People clock that, oh, she's gonna hit certain angles, things are gonna work a certain way, and they just avoid those angles, and you're good to go. Like, I don't know, it's a weird character to work with. I hope they do something, unless she's supposed to be down here with Scarlet Witch permanently. It's just like a 1 star learnable character. If that's the case, then sure, but I do hope for more for the character. Iron Fist right now, uh, Iron Fist is probably worse than Psylocke. I mean, kind of on the same page, but Iron Fist cannot kill a squishy, like, at all. He has real problems with that. And that's kind of the whole point of diving, is to kill squishy targets. You're not killing squishy targets, why are you diving? Why are you diving tanks? What is the problem with this? So, he's there, he can stall, he can do stuff, but stalling is like his main way of providing value. So, B tier's fine. Dive is meta. If Dive were not meta, he might honestly be lower. I'm gonna be honest. Now, the comeback story of the century is Black Widow. Black Widow's great. Black Widow's actually really good. Um, yeah, that reworked her. They changed her completely, and now she's used in top level lobbies. She's getting banned a ton, in high elo, and if you hit even half of the shots that she gets, you can do some really serious damage. She's not a pushover anymore. She's not the symbol of throwing. I never thought I'd see the day, but here we are. Black Widow is the top of S tier. It's crazy to think about. Now, another annoying character is Wolverine. Now, Wolverine is getting a massive change. Okay, he got a massive change. Wolverine already was a sleeper pick. Okay? Now he can take out the Thing. Don't let the grounded fool you, and the ability that he can't be moved fool you. He can take out the Thing. You get enough rage, you just slice the guy and he falls over. He can take out any tank. It's a real problem. Devil Dinosaur, I think, is the only one that really gives him some troubles if he's, because he can fight back with bleed. But that's it. That's really it. And maybe Penny, if with the mines of the nests. Any other tank, like Wolverine, is a real problem. Wolverine is getting a massive rage increase, where the rage decay timer is much slower than it was. So you just get to keep your bonus damage for much longer. And in the middle of a fight, that could be the difference. That could seriously be the difference. You know? That could be a problem. So, don't sleep on Wolverine. If you need a character that just can provide immediate value, get him. Get him, bro. Like, he's worth it. Very annoying for tanks, and he makes us not want to play the game. I'll put it like that. Onto a surprising come up, Mr. Fantastic. Now, if you've been watching these for a little bit, Mr. Fantastic has been in the B tier region for a little bit, and that's been because of the solo tank epidemic, right? Solo tank issue. Solo tanking is not as prevalent. It does still happen often, but it's not like 50% of the games anymore. It's you know, maybe like 30%, which is still too much, but I digress. Mr. Fantastic has gone from, you know, second tank DPS kind of character to, you can actually do what you want to do on this character, right? He's not easy to learn. Well, he's not difficult to learn, but you do gotta learn him. He's very difficult to kill. Kind of feels like a better Iron Fist in a way, where Iron Fist is hard to kill, and he just stalls a point, and then he just does some damage, and, does what he needs to. With the Rocket Team Up, which is the only one you use on the guy, you can get up to 200 elasticity, build up a bunch of it, and then just get big when you want to, and do what you need to. Just get a bunch of value, and I think he's really going places. I don't think he's best in A. I think he's probably bottom of A. And I don't think he's going to move much anywhere, because I know Poke is coming back, but he resists Poke. He pushes back against it. He pushes back against some dive. It's a surprising development. I'm excited to see where he goes in the future, but I have seen some very good results with Mr. Fantastic recently. Nobody plays Human Torch, so he's in the Iron Man camp. He's good. He's probably better than Iron Man, but nobody plays him, so I can't rank him high. You know, like he's got a fine team up with Jubilee. He's got a fine team up with um someone else. I don't remember. I know that he enables Invis's shield, and that's a good thing. But chances of getting a Johnny Storm on your team are just so low. I think he's the least played character in the game, honestly. If we had more data, I could give a better representation, but at the moment, I think he's just too far from being meta. He's just not being used. So, is what it is. Now, the tragedy number one is that Phoenix has been really bad. Uh, Phoenix has been really bad this season. Now, he's getting a big upgrade. Hopefully, trying to get it back to normal. You know? So, probably A tier at least. Like I'll put her up here with Hella. I don't think she's going to be top of S or anything crazy like that, but A tier, probably usable again. Blade, B tier. B tier for Blade. I've seen some. He's not great. He's not horrible. Uh, Kind of feels like Psylocke, honestly, where you just kind of do what you need to, and then you use your ult, and then you get some value with your ultimate. But tries to stay alive as long as he can. Not very successfully a lot of the time, especially if the team knows to just, aim him down, then he just gets cooked. Daredevil is in the S tier, for sure. He's not at the top of the S tier, but he's definitely in the S tier. He's not bad. They keep throwing more things at him, and eventually he's going to be unplayable, but we haven't reached that point, so they're going to keep throwing things at him and seeing what sticks. No problems, no changes with the guy, so can't say he's getting any worse. We move on. So, this guy, DPS pool. DPS pool is probably the worst version of Deadpool until you get upgrades, right? He's probably the worst DPS until you get upgrades. Once you get your upgrades, you can dive and take out support character in less than a second. So he is amazing. He has amazing capabilities. But you gotta know the combo. You gotta be able to like button spam and be aware of what form you're in, the gun or the sword form at the same time. It's a lot to know, it's a lot to learn, it's a lot to keep up with, but if you can get it, he's the best diver in the game. And the combo just deletes. It just is a delete button. It's crazy. You got no changes. Um, both team ups are great. The Gambit team up enables his dive really well. Ella team up lets him pick off characters even faster. So, for all versions of Deadpool, I still recommend starting on Gambit, then swapping to Hela once you get the upgrades for it, but you do what's comfortable and do what you need to get the most value out of your character, right? Stratpool will be a different story for higher viability, but having these two up so high does make me happy because I am a Deadpool fan. Okay, so maybe I'm biased, but I've been playing a good bit of DPS pool this season, and I think he deserves at least A tier, at least solid A tier. Cat out of the bag. Here's the demon of the season, and she gets a very mild nerf to her team up. Apparently, the devs said in some interview or something that they like the way she is right now, her performance in the game, though she's probably going to stay this good for a while. So I'm not moving her out of one above all. Like, she's going to stay here for a bit. I talked about Black Cat being better than Spider-Man. I do believe that's true. I think she's probably up here somewhere. Um, she's great. She's just hard to learn. If you want to learn her, you should. You really should. Because she does crazy things. Crazy, crazy things. And does it extremely fast, just like DPS Pool does. And she can get in and get out without ever being seen because she's invisible. So, she's hard to track, hard to hit, hard to take down. She gets iframes. She has the whole package. She's just hard to learn. So, you can't be like one above all, absolute best, fantastic, phenomenal, because squids can auto target onto her while she's stealthed, and you gotta put in the time and effort like a Spider-Man player. You gotta learn the character, you know, ad nauseum, basically. On to Cyclops. Cyclops has also been pretty bad down here with Phoenix, I would say. Maybe better than Phoenix. Might even put him in B from this past season, but I don't know. I mean, he's not performed very well. Very few people have picked him. But now he gets increased cooldown reduction provided for one of his abilities, and then his team up gets frequency boost. I'll put him in B because it sounds like they don't think he's that terrible. And I think he may bump up. Sorry. I think he may bump up to A. I don't want to risk that because it doesn't seem like these changes are all that fantastic. But I'll bump him up to A because he is getting changed. It may move the needle, just like Phoenix. But Phoenix's changes are a whole lot more impactful. Alright, speed round of supports. Luna Snow. Uh, actually S tier, probably low S tier, but S tier, because you just can't do anything against her. You know, her White Fox team up can cleanse while she's stunned, so things like Doctor Strange Ultimate don't matter. For her, she just gets rid of it. She won't be top of S, I assure you, but I think she's definitely S. She has the options, the capabilities. So yeah. Loki is almost always gonna be S tier. I don't know why we have to say it. You know, it is what it is. Rocket is good. He's got a damage amplifier, but I think he's honestly top of A at this point. Um, Great, don't get me wrong. He's got some good team ups. He's very solid. He's very consistent. But like, you know, his ultimate doesn't provide a ton of healing. It can be, if everyone shoots it, it goes away extremely quickly. Whereas Luna's, unless you use an ult or you have something that's, you know, of equivalent value, lasts for like 8 seconds, which can very much so be the difference in a match. A sneaky come from behind character is Mantis, because now she can be in 2 supports. And the speed boost, the damage boost, the healing boost, she's a whole package. She's great. She's fantastic. Loki's getting a slight buff. I just saw a projectile speed increase. It's not much. It's not going to change the fact that he's an S. Adam Warlock, B tier, you gotta know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, don't play Adam, or learn him if you really want to. But he's not a pick up on the fly kind of character. You have to know what you're doing and play him right. Ultron team up makes him better. You could play him in 2-2-2, but it's, you know, it's still not the number one easiest support to play, and that will take some points away. Jeff, A tier. I mean, he's good. I don't think he's as consistent as Rocket. He's probably bottom of A tier. This gap here is pretty wide, I think, between Jeff and Rocket. But Jeff's ult, you can always do something crazy and get a whole squad wipe. You can't hardly do that with any other support ult, really. And I mean, you can't do that as easily with many other ults in general in the game. So Jeff's ult is very interesting, very intriguing. And the fact that his water goes through allies, the bubbles have a movement boost and a healing boost. He's got the interesting tools, right? And he can play well with dive on a flank, on an off angle. He's not bad. There's a huge gap, I think, between Rocket and Jeff right now, but we'll see if anything fits in there. Hopefully something does. And we'll see where things go. Now, Cloak and Dagger is a tricky one, because I don't know yet if I want her, if I want them to be the one above all, or Gambit to be one above all. I can't decide yet, because Gambit's still banned a ton. Here, I will do an easy compromise. I'll do that. Alright? Easy. His Gambit is amazing right now, and his Magneto team-up is fantastic, and everyone always plays Magneto. But he's getting he has now, the Magneto team-up nerf, where it only bounces people half the time. That's a big change. That's a huge change. And that might very well take him from absolute best to just really, really, really good. I still see him being banned a ton. He is the other character with Hela that enables 4 team-ups, so obviously that'll happen. And Cloak and Dagger with the Hood team-up is broken, is absolutely broken. Like, the vulnerability and the damage buff, crazy. Like, should not exist in the game. I think she or the Hood is getting banned every single game. Those two should not, cannot, will not be allowed to be together on a match, okay? I am moving Luna Snow officially down because I see the other supports that are here that are left, and there are some that I think are better healers, frankly. And I think Luna Snow is amazing. She does amazing things, but her healing output is not as good as some others. I think she kind of goes between healing and damage more so than strictly healing, whereas someone like Invis does more just direct, immediate, like specifically healing and then cares about damage second. Luna almost cares about damage first now and then healing second. And I just don't think that's how you should be playing a main healer, you know? Ultron's B tier, if you know what you're doing. E, very similar to Adam. You can get extremely good work on, but you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta have an idea. I think Ultron has like the highest win rate in the lowest ranks. So if you're struggling in those ranks, learn Ultron, because no one looks up and no one can aim. You know, is the consistent healing, the constant healing, and with the penny upgrade, you can give everyone a shield boost and a mild healing boost for a short time, which is a big deal. It is. It is a big deal. Or you get the healing beam with Iron Man. So, 2 good upgrades on that guy. Stratpool does not play like a normal strategist. He's probably the worst strategist in the game. It's unfortunate. I love Deadpool. I am very biased, but I have to admit that he struggles a lot. You kind of have to play him with other dive characters and play him as a diver, or you just play him wrong and you just exclusively shoot certain teammates, right? So it's hard. Hard to say one way or another that he can be better than C. So I'm gonna leave him in C. I do think he's probably the worst port right now. He got no changes, so he's not getting any better. White Fox was awful. White Fox is better now. Pretty simple. He might actually be lower than Jeff, but her neutral is really bad, especially now. Like, her neutral is really bad. They buffed her ultimate. I think it's a really good buff. It cleanses a bunch of characters around her. I think that's really necessary, but they need to do something with her neutral, because her neutral is bad. It suffers a lot right now. And then how do you get to your ultimate if you don't have a good neutral? You know, it's a problem. So we'll see. She was a main healer. She's not really a main healer right now. So who knows? And the newcomer, Jubilee, I think is going to fit right here. Jubilee is a very offensive strategist. She's very good in coordinated play because she can apply blind to enemies and has a healing orb that, like Ultron's drones, will constantly heal or will constantly damage. You know? So it's not a bad thing. It follows you around like a little puppy. and then you can explode it for more health, more healing, or more damage and blind on the enemies. So there's a lot of options there for Jubilee. Um, and she's getting a buff to her primary rate. Don't think it'll be better than Rocket, but it's still gonna be decent. So this is the list. This is obviously later than I had wanted it to be, but hopefully this made sense. This was coherent, and you enjoyed. So see you for 10.0. That's gonna be a weird wave. It's gonna be a weird one, saying wave 10. So yeah, hopefully the game doesn't implode by then, and see you next time.